Yeah, I'm recording.
Yeah, but
remember?
recording the video, which I'm doing right now.
Oh.
That's how that works. Don't you know?
I don't know.
Okay. Well then. Hello and welcome to episode 711 of the Player One podcast.
Give me a Slurpee, baby.
For Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Busting out the French. It's good.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the extent of it right there.
All right, then. And joining me from the great state of Washington is Mr. Phil Theobald.
Alouette, jante, alouette. Alouette, jante, plumale. Jante, plumale.
See, it's where you start sounding like you're choking up like a lung or something. That I start to.
Love it. Love it.
What's up?
How you doing, fellas?
Fine.
We're recording this not live to YouTube. This is live to tape. Sorry.
Tape.
Not actually any tape involved in this.
I'll try to figure out something for next week. If we can't, I can't figure out what the hell is wrong with Zoom, then we'll do it on Twitch or something.
Will you try something different than what you did this week,
which was nothing?
Well, I mean,
see if it sorts itself out.
Yeah.
It's systematic, though. We've eliminated nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's
as a
true.
solution.
This was the control week.
You remember, however, there was that one week where it didn't even have the stream to YouTube button, but the next week it
I don't remember
itself.
any of this.
I don't either.
Okay. Well, it didn't
fix
fix
one of those made up
episodes. It didn't fix itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So again,
So
like I said,
that's-
we've eliminated nothing as a solution.
Next week we'll try something.
Next week we'll try something.
We'll try something. We'll do it. Yes.
Something. TBD.
TBD.
What that something is. TBD.
But it won't be nothing because we've eliminated nothing.
No, it'll absolutely be something.
Yeah.
Something might be sit on my couch and see what happens.
That's something.
But
I feel like that nothing sort of encapsulated that.
Well, if we write it down, then it's
I can write
that's
it down.
something.
I can do that.
So now we've eliminated nothing and recorded the fact that we've eliminated nothing.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Maybe sitting on the couch was going to be the trick.
The scientific method.
We write it down, boom, that part's taken care of. Yeah.
Possible.
Very procedural. We have to work our way up to actually interacting with the computer.
We don't want to pull anything.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Eliminate.
saying. We're old men now.
You know what?
Right.
It's so often the easiest solution. You might as well start there.
We've tried the easiest solution, though, so now we know it's not
Start there before we start with the actual tinkering.
Close our eyes and hope for the best.
Yeah.
By the way, happy Father's Day to all of us.
Yes.
And to our listeners out there who have
all the dads out there. And especially, I got to say to a friend of the show, Chris Baker, because it's his first
That's right.
Father's Day.
Well, it's his first Father's Day as a father.
As a father, I mean.
Yeah.
Presumably, he's had a father in the past to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a little kid now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You do anything special for your Father's Day?
Had breakfast made for me. That's about it.
Yeah.
Finn made me a card that was very sweet, very cute.
Yeah.
You know, and bought me. He picked out. Finn's big gift for me was like a 2-pound bag of Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, I get nothing but candy as well, and I'm really sort of ashamed to say that about half of it is gone. Yeah,
like 2 pounds of Sour Patch Kids.
That's lovely.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pull it to my waistline.
Straight to the hips.
My daughter and my wife made me breakfast.
In
bed, which was fun.
In bed?
Yeah, they brought it.
It seems dangerous.
They brought it to me. It was great. Or
I wouldn't want to. I have not had breakfast in bed. I would not want to eat breakfast in bed.
Well, I didn't.
Breakfast in bed is nice.
They brought it to the bed, and then I went out into the living room.
So it was a ceremonial breakfast.
It was ceremonial
breakfast in bed.
Yeah.
Observed. Yeah.
Yeah. They got me a card, and then
for breakfast,
since we watch
the
The
pictures.
Office.
Yeah.
A lot. I am regional manager Apparently, the Michael Scott
Okay.
operation. My daughter is assistant to the regional manager. She has a
So
shirt.
you're
that says
the
that,
racist, sexist,
Yeah.
bungling,
apparently.
but good at
Apparently.
sales.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then my wife is the party planning committee.
Nice.
Her shirt has party planning committee on
That's
it.
pretty great.
Yeah,
There you go.
that was pretty.
Please tell me she did a banner that said, "It's your
It
birthday."
is your birthday.
Period.
Yeah.
It is your birthday.
Now, what I'm really looking forward to is when CJ leaves the family and they bring in a new guy whose T-shirt just says, "I'm popular now because I was in The Hangover, but I'm not actually very funny."
Wow.
You talk about Ed Helms?
Yes, I am talking about Ed Helms,
Ed Helms.
who is not particularly funny and was
He was funny on the Daily
aggressively-
Show.
Okay, I'll give you that. But
I think he's-
aggressively unfunny on The Office. And
I think he's funny in The Office until the point
Until
where
they decided to turn him into
boss.
a complete prick. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they clearly didn't know what to do with that character at all. That character
Well,
went
that's
through
true.
about 5 different iterations of himself before he's settling on Michael Scott, but not as good as Steve Carell.
And then clearly their writers settled upon, wow, this show is really about Jim, Pam, and Dwight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should
Let's
probably
just-
focus on them.
Man, what a
Focus on
good
them.
show that turned just
I mean,
so
the first
bad.
4 seasons, maybe 5 seasons are good, and then
First season's a little rough.
First season,
Okay,
you got to just
first
get
season's
past.
rough.
They were trying to
Second-
stick a little too close to
So
UK.
2
Office.
through 4,
Yeah,
is your sweet spot.
And I'm going to
2,
say
3,
it.
4, fantastic.
I'm going to say it. The UK show, I hate
Yeah.
it. I did not.
I
find
couldn't get into
enjoyable
it either.
in the least.
I couldn't
You
get
know,
into it either.
I forced myself to watch because I'd started watching it probably 3 times. Like, you know what? I'm going to watch this because it's got to get good because it's so
Right.
beloved.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I watched like this just never gets good.
The funny thing about it for me is that I really liked it before the U.S. office started.
Yeah.
You know,
Surprising they
because
ever
by
did
the-
with the U.S. office was not make it the UK
By
office.
by the time the U.S. office came out, the British one was done. They'd done like the various Christmas specials and whatnot. So
Right.
there was no more of that to be had. So I liked it at that point. And then the U.S. office, seasons 2 through 4
Yeah.
happened. And now when I rewatch the UK office, I don't like it as much.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even watched that David Brent special that is on Netflix.
Okay.
It's not good either.
No.
Man.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so hey, we want to talk about video games? Should we
Mm.
do that?
I could talk about video games. I've done it before.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some news first. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed
Uh-oh.
once again, this time until November 19th,
Oh, man.
which strikes me as like the last possible day before Black Friday that you could possibly launch a new video game.
But all the
It's like
we
19th or
assume
20th.
we assume the new consoles will both be out at that point, though, right?
Yeah.
I would assume they will be, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, either
What-
by the 20th or like on the 20th is what I
What I
expect
thought was
to
interesting about
happen.
that
Yeah.
was that they didn't actually officially announce the Cyberpunk delay. You could hear the collective groaning of all the programmers chained to their desk when they got the word, and that was how we all knew. It was just like, no, we want to go home.
But apparently now they're done with the game. It's just
Yeah.
a bug fixing period now
Oh.
that they're going into.
Oh,
So
okay.
with this delay announcement, they did say that apparently some people are playing the game now, some previewers, which apparently I would imagine that means YouTubers / influencers and
Influencers.
not game reviewers.
Right.
Right. So we'll probably see a lot of that they had scheduled an event to happen this upcoming week.
Nah.
So imagine we'll see some of that playthrough stuff happening with
Mm.
various influencers this week.
Please
Can't
look forward
wait.
to it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really that interested in Cyberpunk personally, but I know a lot of people are.
Well, I mean, The Witcher 3 was awesome. That's kind of my experience with CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
You okay there, CJ?
Man. He just muted himself. Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! CJ's dead.
that is that smiling picture of CJ in front of
that does not represent. Yeah, that does not represent what's happening right now.
That is
at all.
that is very much the.
I'm back.
Cutting to an eagle and an image of the American flag.
What I love is when you came back, the smile is exactly the same, only like 8 years older.
Basically, yeah.
No, CD Projekt Red. My experience with that company is Witcher 3. Witcher 3 was awesome, and Cyberpunk, the setting appeals to me, so I do want to play it. I'm excited about playing it, but hey, Last of Us 2 just came out.
It's true,
and
Ghost of
Paper Mario is about to come out.
Coming out.
And so there's lots of stuff to play already anyway.
There's so much to play.
Yeah.
There's a lot of video games.
The next few weeks is going to be expensive.
They keep making video games.
Guess what else?
Huh?
I ordered my 4K TV this week.
Whoa! Congratulations.
Yep. The old tax return was a little higher than I expected, and
nice.
I'd saved up about 2/3 of the cost already. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do it.
How big of a television is this?
65-inch.
Okay, nice.
Whoa, all right.
That when I upgrade to a 4K TV, the ones I have been, very, very preliminarily looking at were 65-inch. So
yeah, I went with a TCL 6 series.
Okay,
because they're supposed to be
the same kind that I have.
Yeah, it is actually. You've got the same kind. Because they're supposed to be excellent when it comes to lag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So that's the main issue. And I guess the 8 series was announced, or it's coming out, but the reviews on that are not enough of an improvement to justify a higher price. So
really?
So yeah. So yeah, should have it
awesome.
first week of July.
Huh.
Cool deal.
Cool.
Then I'll play Cyberpunk on it on the new consoles.
There you go. Well, this is apparently happening tomorrow, but it already leaked that there's a new Crash Bandicoot game coming out. Crash 4, It's About Time. Yeah.
I'm just going to say that subtitle has already been used in the Back to the Future Telltale games. So
true.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. So
and I guarantee they were better.
That would have been a much more clever subtitle had
it not already been used.
Had it not been used in another time travel game.
Well, the Insane Trilogy did very, very well for Activision, so I imagine this new game will do pretty well too. It's scheduled to be unveiled on Jeff Keighley's Summer
birthday
of Games thing that he's doing.
Oh.
So
great.
I know you love it.
I've never liked Crash games.
Yeah, I could never really get into them either.
Me
technically
neither.
Nice looking.
Yeah, they looked great, but yeah, they weren't really
like
my thing.
Running into the screen, avoiding boulders and stuff just doesn't.
Yeah,
But no, I will say though, you seriously go back and look at what else was on the PlayStation when those came out. When the first one came out, it's really nice looking.
Oh, it's no, they were beautiful games.
Really
at the time.
Yeah, they looked great.
But
they looked great.
Couldn't.
But yeah, the gameplay just was not my bag.
Couldn't get with that at all.
Yeah, I personally don't have any nostalgia for Crash.
No,
except for the commercials.
Oh man, standing in front of Nintendo headquarters.
Yeah.
Yes,
they were great.
Which apparently wasn't really Nintendo's headquarters, like in the commercial shoot. Like they.
Well, I'm
what?
Sure. Really? You don't think Nintendo gave them permission to do that?
I know, right? Crazy to think about.
That's
this
false
building
advertising.
Isn't really
Another
Nintendo's headquarters.
Sue them.
Memory shattered.
Jeez.
Thanks, CJ.
Sorry.
I could have gone my whole life not knowing that.
Yeah.
Now you can't. All right. EA Play happened last week. And
Isn't
it was
that isn't that what they called that? No, it was Replay. I was going to say that great compilation of old EA
collection?
games on the PSP.
Yeah, it was Replay.
Man, I wish that was a thing that had, stuck.
Was there any haunting starring Poltergeist updates in this?
No.
Then what's our
Sadly,
next
no.
topic?
Haunting
Sadly,
starring
no.
Poltergeist, It's About Time.
Oh, where you travel through time, scaring people? Perfect.
I think we just
They
designed
did-
the game, boys.
Oh my gosh,
do about-
because it's about time that we got a new Crash Bandicoot game, but also the game itself involves like time travel.
Man,
So-
nothing gets past you.
So it's
Ow.
about the game is about the concept of time. But also, hey, isn't it great that we're getting a new game? Because
Yeah,
it's
sure.
about
Yeah.
Oh,
Does the steel trap in
man.
your skull hurt? Or
Man, that's great. I
it's
get
got
it.
two
So-
meanings. It's got a dual meaning.
Two meanings.
Yeah.
Hour-long presentation hosted by Greg
Yeah.
Miller, and there was some interesting announcements in here. The most important of which, of course, Star Wars Squadrons,
Goddamn right.
Mhm.
which is coming out in October and on like most popular platforms except for the Switch.
3DS.
And it's going to support VR as well, like everywhere. So including
Like-
PSVR.
Like
I
the
will
whole
play at least-
game.
I will play
the
at least
whole
a half
game.
a mission in
The
VR
whole game. I
before I
will.
get
whole
sick
game.
and play without VR from then on.
I
Yeah.
can almost assure you, I will play that entire game in VR. I
try.
am. Holy crap! Am I stoked for that?
Seriously
yeah.
though, remember what was it, Battlefield or Battlefront? Battlefront.
Mhm.
When they had the VR mission, did you try that? Did you ever try
I
that,
did.
Phil? Yeah.
I did.
And
That was actually
just-
my first experience
just-
with PlayStation VR.
Yeah, just sitting in the virtual cockpit of the X-wing.
Yep.
It was like, this is amazing. Like I
Yes, it
spent
is.
more time sort of leaning over and like
yeah.
examining everything.
Checking out the control panels.
Oh
yeah.
my god!
Yeah.
And now it's going to be all these different.
I
shit, like a
am.
TIE fighter.
I'm so stoked for that. I mean,
nerd.
because what was it like the last Ace Combat game had the VR mode, and it was
Yeah,
like
you're saying.
here's like 3 missions you can play in VR, and they're not even like story missions. They're just kind of like their own separate set off apart from the main story, just their own
Yep.
little separate mode.
Yep.
We just kind of whipped these up for you, but now to have a whole
A whole
flight combat
game.
game built around VR and have it be in the Star Wars universe, I am pleased as punch. I was so nervous about this game. I figured I was going to be ignoring it because I thought it was going to be like all, heavy multiplayer focus, which
Which
know
it
I don't-
is.
Which it is, but it also has like it has a full single player mode.
Well, like a 4 to 5 hour campaign.
That's good enough for me.
That's fine.
Perfect.
That's all I want.
Perfect.
That means it's
I
probably
don't-
one of the only games I finished this year.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want a 20-hour game.
I agree. I agree.
Especially if I'm going to be playing it in VR. Jeez, I mean,
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Well,
I don't
and
need to
it's-
be for 20 hours straight.
It's only $39.99. So
Is it
Even
really
better.
yeah, even better.
See, that's
This
great.
just keeps getting better.
Yeah,
I can play it in VR.
yeah. No,
and it's $40
At half
Sweet.
price.
I thought it was going to be like because the Battlefront, the
Mhm.
Battlefront games. I mean, they have a single player mode, but that's not really a
this-
single player mode. right?
Battlefront 2 does, right?
I don't know.
The first game?
I don't
Sure.
know. I don't think the first game did. I mean,
I don't think the first game does.
I think it has like a single player mode, but it's more like you're just
Tutorial.
playing the multiplayer mode against bots or something.
Yeah,
Where-
that's
Yeah.
basically it.
Like, I guess this is going to have
I'm
like
sure
a
if we're
full.
wrong, the internet will tell us.
Yeah. I guess this is going to have like a full story and everything.
Yeah, where
you're-
you play both sides.
boom. That's what I want.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
Give me a 5-hour Star Wars interactive
You're down with
movie.
it.
Yes.
And it looks great too. Like
does.
The
Yeah,
gameplay
the
trailer
made it look
delivered.
really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did look very nice. Although
got-
a lot of there's a lot of cockpit in that screen.
Well,
Well,
that's how it works in those things. And I'll
Yeah.
bet you there's if they're smart, there's a button to
Yeah.
wipe that off the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But I remember back
Uh,
when I was really played a lot of Wing Commander. I always loved that you had the whole sort of visual cockpit around you.
Mhm.
It blocked a lot of the screen in certain situations, but I was okay.
But
with
it completes the immersion.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, especially if you're playing in VR.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
you have to have that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just floating in space, and that's weird.
Yeah.
That is weird. That would be really weird. It'd be like you're playing Iron Man or something.
But you got like Wedge in there. Like you
Mhm.
briefly see Wedge from the movies is in the game, and
yeah.
Hera from the Rebels TV series. She was one of the main characters in Rebels. Is in the game as well, which is really cool because she's a good character. So Very excited.
It's exciting. Yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah. Some of the other things we got, Apex Legends is coming to Switch and Steam with full crossplay.
Thank God.
So
Okay.
EA has not typically done a whole lot of crossplay, but it seems like they're embracing that more and more with their games, including Apex Legends and Star Wars Squadrons as well is crossplay multiplayer game. So that's awesome. A bunch of their games landed on Steam, including The Sims 4, Dead Space 3, and Titanfall 2. So that's
Did Anvil 2?
What?
Huh?
What's that?
Nothing.
They had a bunch of new EA partners games announced, including Lost in Random, which kind of looks like Tim Burton style Nightmare Before Christmas sort of adventure game. And Rocket Arena, a sort of Fortnite alike game.
Oh, is that the one that was in the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5?
No.
Oh, really? There's another Fortnite alike.
So that was Destruction Arena, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is, or Destruction All Stars. This one is Rocket Arena. It's a 3-on-3 multiplayer game. That comes out July 14th. So
sweet.
Yeah, and It Takes Two, which is Hazelight's new multiplayer game. You know, the Joseph Fares, the guy who did A Way Out and Swarm Game Awards. That guy, he's doing a new game that is a multiplayer game once again. So
cool.
Yeah,
I didn't watch any of this.
You did not watch any of it.
No. I watched Star Wars.
Yeah, same with me.
They did sort of a montage of their next gen stuff, but have not actually like announced any of their next gen games yet. And they announced a new Skate game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was another big one.
How do you think that's going to do?
Seem to want.
Do they? Is it big enough?
It comes up every time there's an EA presentation.
Sure.
It comes up.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games like your F-Zero. So whenever there's a Nintendo Direct, is this going to be the one where F-Zero gets announced that, seems to be gathering steam? Like will EA do another Skate game seems to be a big thing.
I feel like this is this generation kickoff's Mirror's Edge.
Yeah. I agree. People wanted a new Mirror's Edge, and then it came out, and nobody bought it.
And then everybody realized they didn't really want it.
They didn't really want it. They really liked the first game. Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, so that was EA Play.
Okay.
I guess then we should get to what you've been playing.
Okay.
Phil, you want to start us off?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess we'll save Last of Us till
last.
Oh. Good. Very good.
So this week, aside from Last of Us, which we will discuss momentarily, I downloaded a demo of a new game that was released for the Nintendo Switch called Working Zombies. Have you seen this game?
I've not seen it. Don't know anything about it.
Seen this? Have you heard about this? This is a new game from Jupiter.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you knew this.
People?
Now, this is Jupiter is, of course, where girls go to get more stupider, while boys are going to Mars to get more candy bars.
It's pretty sexist.
Well,
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
we were like 6 when we said that, so
Really, were you? I don't believe that.
36.
Yeah, that's a number I believe more.
That was part of my wedding vows, actually.
Yeah.
I'm looking now
Dana,
at Working Zombies on the eShop.
Looking back, Dana, I realized that boys go to Mars to get more candy bars, while girls go to Jupiter to get more stupider. But then she turned it around with an "I'm rubber and you're glue," so that ended up bouncing off of her, and now it's stuck to me. So, what am I to do?
And all is right in the world.
Yep. Jupiter, of course, is the company that does the Picross games.
Mhm.
The fantastic Picross E games and Picross S for the Switch. But they are doing a non-Picross game, and this
Wow.
is Working Zombies, and it's essentially it's like what was it? Diner Dash? Was that game?
Yes, Diner Dash.
That Diner Dash where it's kind of like that
top down
kind of item time management kind of thing where you have to run around and grab stuff from customers and things like that.
Yeah, like a single player Overcooked.
Yes, exactly. So I downloaded the demo because it's Jupiter and I love their Picross games, of course. And it's good. I think it's like $20. I don't think I'm gonna pick it up just because like Diner Dash and its ilk I would enjoy them for like 10 minutes and then be kind of done with it.
Sure.
And it seemed like I played some of the demo and was like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's not bad. Like if it goes on sale, I might pick it up, but because it's you example of a level. The first level, you're on an airplane.
Yeah,
and it's a very wide.
Right now.
It's a very wide airplane with a lot of open floor space.
So like an airplane if Naughty Dog created it.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Oh. No, I don't mean that as an insult, but it's just anyway. Yeah. We get to that later.
So
yes, we will.
Yeah, you have there's like I think 4 customers in a seat, and a little thought bubble will pop up above their head saying like, oh, I want a newspaper or I want a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And so you have to rush over to the
common requests on an airplane.
Exactly. So you have to, get a thing of wine and rush it back over. And of course, multiple customers are popping up and you got to hurry because if you wait too long to get them their stuff, they get angry and blah, 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 blah.
Comment cards. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, whatever. It's fine. It's super cute looking. It's got an adorable kind of style to the characters and everything. And the gag of the game, the reason why it's called Working Zombies is that in the world of the game, zombies are naturally occurring. I guess there's just zombies living in the world, and
just another group of people.
Everyone
make a living.
Everyone seems to dislike the zombies because they're scary monsters. But then they realize, oh well, if we get jobs helping out the community, people will like us. So
that's pretty great.
So so now they're becoming flight attendants and daycare workers and restaurant staff and things like that. So that's the joke behind it. But
sure.
It's fine. If you like those kind of games, you'll probably really enjoy it. Personally, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. The other oh, you know what? I forgot to write this down. I'll just mention this because my Wonderful 101 showed up from my Kickstarter. Yeah, I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago I bought it on Steam.
Yes.
Or I got it on Steam. Did I pay? I don't think I paid.
You got a code.
I got a code. They sent me a code because the physical Switch copies were delayed.
Yeah.
So they gave me a Steam code, but my physical Switch game finally showed up from the Kickstarter project. So huzzah! Now I have that on the Switch as well. Cool. But also on the Switch, I picked up the first. There were 2 of these releases this week of the Namco Museum Archives. Volume 1 and Volume 2 came out.
Right.
And I picked up the first volume, which has 10, 11 games?
10 games plus Pac-Man Championship Edition.
So 11 games.
Yeah, yes. 11 games. But they both have 11 games.
Yes. Galaxian, Pac-Man, Xevious, Mappy, Dig Dug, Tower of Druaga, Sky Kid, Dragon Buster, Dragon Spirit, Splatterhouse, Wan Paku Graffiti, and Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I picked up the first volume mainly for the Pac-Man Championship Edition Famicom,
which looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I picked that up as well.
Yeah, it looks great. It plays great.
Yeah.
I realized because I used to be quite good at Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Not so much anymore.
Well, you know what it was? Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 came out.
Yeah.
Which altered the gameplay, and I ended up playing a ton of Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 and got really good at that and kind of forgot how to be good at Championship Edition 1.
Yep.
So I need to kind of play it some more and kind of reset how that game functions in my brain to start playing the first one again.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's great. And CJ, I saw you pick this up as well.
I did. Yeah, it's a great little collection. I found that I like the Championship Edition demake,
Mhm.
but the fact that it is in 4:3 perspective and the maze scrolls kind of messes me up because you can't look and see what the other side of the maze is in your peripheral vision. Like you have to deal with the maze scrolling. So, and by the way, it is very fast.
Oh, yeah,
very fast. It might
Yeah.
even be faster than the 360 game. Like it's very
really?
the gameplay is very fast, or at least the speed of Pac-Man is very fast. Or I've just gotten older and my hands can't move.
Also
that fast,
true.
Yeah.
which is also true.
It can be two things.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy it. I think my high score is something like 308,000
Okay.
in it.
I'm trying to remember. I think, am I still hovering in the 200,000 somewhere? I might be, but
yeah, it's fun
yeah,
though.
it is. It's a really good game. It doesn't have online leaderboards, apparently,
It
right?
does not,
Which is a
no.
bummer. Which is, I mean,
That is a bummer. I mean, it is supposed to be a demake. It's supposed to be running on the Famicom, which I'm not actually sure if this is a Famicom ROM or
could you
could
dump
it actually
this?
run on a Famicom?
Right. I don't know, but the game runs very quickly and there's no screen flicker. So I somehow doubt that this would actually run. Maybe.
Yeah.
I
Who
did
knows?
try to play Pac-Man, just the Famicom version of Pac-Man.
Right.
And I found the gameplay to be very slow and the control to just not be very satisfying whatsoever.
I wanna say that version wasn't great.
The NES.
The NES Pac-Man?
Yeah. Pac-Man, yeah.
It's
not
fine.
great. I mean, it's Pac-Man. It's fine.
Pac-Man's a slow game anyway. I mean,
that's true. I think the other thing is that it's probably pretty easy to forget how slow Pac-Man was.
That's definitely true, especially if you're used to Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Or even Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, Pac-Man is not a fast game. There were, you might recall there being speed boost hacks that people would make to the old arcade units back in the day. So just to kind of give it a turbo boost or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a pretty nice collection if you want a bunch of old Namco Famicom games.
Specifically like the 8-bit collection is what these two volumes are. And
I mean, they are Famicom ROMs
Famicom
basically.
games.
Yeah. So when you play Xevious or Mappy on here, it is the Famicom versions as opposed to the arcade versions. So
and it does have a save state thing. You can do that. And it has a rewind feature, but the rewind feature works a little differently than it does in some other games. Like it sort of brings you back to a specific check mark. It's like the game is taking a checkpoint every 5 seconds, and it takes you back to that point. And if you just passed a checkpoint and you hit the button to rewind, you're going back basically to the exact point you died or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just
interesting.
It's not quite as fully featured as I would like it to be, but
right.
Oh well. M2 did the emulation for these games, so
yes.
I played a little bit of Galaga on there and Galaxian, and it was just like, these are the classic games. Yep.
Did you get both volumes?
I did get both volumes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't bought the second one yet. I do want to though.
I'm buying Mr. Driller Drill Land this week too. Namco getting all my money.
Yeah, Drill Land comes out this week. I am so excited about that. Holy crap.
Yeah. Did you saw the high res version of the intro they posted a couple weeks ago up on YouTube?
No, I don't think I did. Oh man, I love it. I remember because I imported that on GameCube back in the day because I was originally was only released on the GameCube over in Japan. I imported that game, and then I ended up importing the soundtrack to that game from Japan because the soundtrack for that game is so good.
It is. It's really good.
Yeah, somewhere around here, I still have that that CD set with the Drill Land soundtrack. So I should dig that up. I should drill it up.
Take a chance.
It's pretty
That's
good.
right, I'm going to. Oh, man. But that's
Is
it.
that all you've been playing?
That's what I've been playing. Well, I mean, it's not all I've been playing, but we'll
That's
wait
all.
on the other
Yeah,
title.
I think we'll probably just hold that to the end of the
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been playing Namco Museum. That's been fun. Also, Microsoft released a demo of Grounded on the Xbox and on Steam. This is on Steam as well. So if you're like, I think you can download it on the Xbox if you're part of the preview program on Xbox, or it's on Steam. And this is Obsidian's sort of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids style survival game. And when we had I'd watched the trailer with Charlotte, and she was really excited about it. So I downloaded the demo on the Xbox and played through it with my daughter. And it's a time limited demo. You can only play for a half hour, and then the demo's over. But it seems like it's just the full beginning of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, where you have to scrounge and find resources to build an axe to defend yourself against bugs that come up to you, and collect water and mushrooms to eat, and stay hydrated and stay full. It's that sort of survival game, which historically I don't like those sorts of survival games where you have a hunger and thirst meter that you always have to worry about. I don't find that mechanic fun, where I'm looking for other resources, and also there's this bar that is decreasing that I have to worry about like every 5 seconds. I just have never really enjoyed that mechanic in game.
Yeah, me neither.
But so far anyway, Grounded seems to be a lot of fun. Killed some ants, killed some well, I fought a spider. I died to a spider. And one of the accessibility features in Grounded, it's really interesting. It pops this up at the title screen and says, if you are arachnophobic, you can set the accessibility settings on how spider-like these spiders actually look.
That's interesting.
So that if you really have a fear of spiders, you can like set it all the way down, and I guess they look nothing like spiders.
What if I'm death in a video game phobic?
Is that the case? You don't like to die in video games?
I'd rather not.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know that can be an accessibility feature in this.
Okay.
So what do the
just checking?
If you crank the de-spider-meter,
I don't know,
to the max, it
would be great if it was just like a blob with googly eyes. That'd be fantastic.
I'm thinking like a giant like balloon sculpture. Like it's just like a big red balloon with like multicolored balloon legs coming off the sides.
That would be pretty
squeaky
cool.
noises as it moves.
I like that.
I'd be all for that.
I would be all for that as well. But when you die, it's very much like a Dark Souls style game. Like your backpack full of resources is where you died, so you can spawn back and go get that stuff. So, wasn't able to do a lot in the game in the first half hour, but you come upon like a little shelter where you can build a workbench. You can make your axe. There's like a weird circuit board in the forest that you can start toying around with. And it's a whole base building thing where you can build furniture in a town sort of thing in the game. It's a multiplayer game as well. But comes out in early access or game preview next month. The demo is on Steam and, as I mentioned, on the Xbox. So, and Windows 10. So played that. I've also played a demo of a game called Sail Forth because it's got pirate ships in it.
Sounds like you're a bit of a turncoat here, buddy.
Here we go.
So of course I played it. No, Steam is having a Summer Games Festival right now. Not to be confused with the Summer Sale, which happens later.
We wouldn't want to confuse them.
Well, and then there's the Summer of Games, and then IGN has their Games of Summer thing. Oh, what? Too many. There's too much.
Summer of Games, and then we're going to the Games of Summer, and
there's
summertime for gamers.
Little things happening that I can't keep anything like that straight. But Steam's doing this little promotion here with a bunch of indie games where there's there's demos of a lot of games that are coming out in the next 6 to 12 months. And Sail Forth was a game that I had on my wish list because, of course, it's got pirate ships in it. And it looked interesting, so I put it on my wish list. And there's a demo of it now on the Steam store. And it is a procedurally generated sailing / pirating game. Way more chill than Sea of Thieves. It's not a multiplayer game at all. But you pilot a ship, a pirate ship, against other pirates that are also cats. It's got like these cute cat pirates.
Yeah.
And it's sort of this branching path game where each stop you have like a specific goal, whether that's collecting money or fighting enemies or racing another ship, something like that, like racing from a start point to a finish point in the map. And each step you do that, and then you can move on to the next bit. So it's not like you're going in any particular direction. It doesn't seem like there's a story to this game. You're just sort of procedurally sailing and doing little missions and gathering ships and powering up your ship against other pirates. So pretty cool. It said demo. I played it for like an hour and a half. I was like, is there gonna be an end here? Or have I basically played all that I want to out of this game? I don't know. But it was cool. It's very chill, and it comes out in like September. So I'll keep an eye on that. And then I played The Last of Us. So I guess we'll move on to Greg.
Cool. Well, I mean, one thing I want to call out before I talk about what I played is I actually guest hosted on another podcast this week because I'm searching for something I like doing more than this.
What?
And
Traitor. Turncoat.
No, I was on a show called The Movie Exchange, which I believe comes out actually tomorrow as we record this, which is actually hosted by a friend of mine named Colin, who I went to school with years ago. So I got on there and we were talking about Predator, not The Predator, sorry, just Predator.
The film
the original
Predator.
The film Predator.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Lick.
Predator.
Yeah, the original Jean-Claude Van Damme vehicle.
Yes.
So
he's not actually in it.
He is in it.
Did they use some of his scenes?
They used some footage from him, yep.
Oh, okay. Because it was
Jean-Claude
mostly
Van Damme was originally cast as the Predator.
Yeah, I knew.
Until no,
are you explaining this to me?
I'm saying for our listeners.
Okay.
Originally cast as the Predator, and then when he found out that you were never actually going to see his face, as well as the suit weighing like 100 or 200 pounds, and
Sure,
really hard to do what he needed to do in it. So, yep.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is too weak to play the Predator, is what you're saying.
Nope, I did not say that at all. That is
Kevin Peter Hall, if my nerdy movie history.
A giant of a man.
Also played Harry on Harry and the Hendersons.
In Harry Potter? Oh.
Yes. Yes.
That was some good makeup. Wow.
Yeah. He's on his knees the whole time. He does it's like a dwarf thing. That's why he has those long wizard wizard robes to cover up the bottom of his legs there that he's walking around on.
Sure.
He puts on that fake British accent.
Yeah.
Oh, the chocolate
like
frogs
yogurt.
Can dance around. Ron, do you want some chocolate frogs? I've seen Harry Potter.
You know what? If I wasn't looking at you right now, I would think I was listening to Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, Hermione, I just want to fly on me broom. We got to fight the evil wizards.
I just want to call it. You can find it on Spotify, Movie Exchange.
Movie Exchange.
And I got to sit and talk about Predator.
Cool. Talk about how
that was fun.
It is.
It is great.
All right.
Great movie.
One of my fave films.
Whoa.
What?
Here's a little Predator trivia I didn't know.
Yeah.
So Kevin Peter Hall, we know, played the Predator.
Yeah, he was in the helicopter at the end of the movie.
Do you know who did the Predator's voice?
Yes. Optimus Prime.
I did not know that.
Yep. And you know what? Actually,
Peter Cullen.
Peter Cullen. And actually, he is credited with the fact that the Predator clicks and gurgles a lot.
Really?
Not because he did the sound effect, but because they came to him for the voice, right? And they showed him a picture of the Predator because they had to, so he could figure out what the voice would be.
Right.
Actually, I guess he had to convince them to let him see a picture of the predator, which is
Oh,
weird.
really? Okay.
And he said it reminded him of a horseshoe crab. And
Makes
he
sense.
remembered when he was a child that if you flip over a horseshoe crab, they gurgle and click.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the clicking and
Man,
gurgling
that's
sounds
amazing.
come from. So
That's
even though
so
he wasn't
cool.
doing that, he's sort of credited with
coming up with the idea.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's
that's pretty
amazing.
neat. Yeah.
That's
So,
super
Peter
cool.
Cullen.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there because I wanted to make sure that I pimped the other show on here.
I'll link to that in the show notes.
Cool. It's a fairly new podcast, so hopefully
Cool.
we can give them a little shot.
Cool.
Otherwise, other than The Last of Us and played Animal Crossing, made a cool 1.2 mil on the stock market.
Oh, look at you.
this
Nice.
week. Pretty proud of myself.
I those house upgrades.
Man, I got the upper floor now.
I got my
Nice.
upper floor as well. I just got to get
Yeah.
my get that.
Basement.
I almost have enough money to pay that off, and then I will get my basement, and then I'll be done.
Yep. That I'm never playing
Game
again.
finished.
No, I still have a bunch of KK albums to collect. So
Yeah. So other than that, though, this week what came out on I forget what it's called on Steam, like early access, I think.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Was 3D SEN. Phil, have you heard about this at all?
is this the emulator?
Yes, but it 3Difies.
Yeah,
NES
I've
games?
seen video of it.
It's out
Okay.
in early access, like $10. Well,
Okay.
$10 Canadian.
Okay.
So like probably $7.50 or something like that for
yeah.
you. So it's like, oh, well, this is pretty cheap. I'm interested in seeing how this works. And so what it is basically is it's basically like a ROM. It's ROM hacks. It's a collection of ROM hacks that 3D-ify NES games, and only
Okay.
certain ones. So when you buy it, there's a list of games that you can play on it. You have to have the ROM. Like the ROMs aren't included. Clearly, he can't sell the ROMs. So it's like Batman is listed on there. So if you have Batman, so you click on that, it opens up a file window. It's like you click on the ROM for Batman, and then you're playing Sunsoft Batman, and everything says it's kind of like not a paper cutout thing so much, but like the floors and the walls all have some depth to them. And he's got Zelda in there and Mario, and I think there's RC Pro Am, which I haven't tried. It's kind of neat though. You should check it out. I don't know that I would ever play through a game with this,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's neat. It's different. It kind of looks like if you rebuilt some of those games in like 3D Dot Heroes or something. Like
Right.
Sure.
Right.
So anyway, that's
What was-
the only other sort of new thing that I tried this week.
That was the name of that game, right? 3D Dot Heroes.
I think so.
3D Dot Game Heroes.
3D Dot Game Heroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a cute little game.
It was a cute game that I found overstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
I tried to get through it and I couldn't.
Same.
They should revisit that idea though. I think there's
Yeah,
That was a
something
fun
there.
idea.
Yes, I
But-
agree. But that's it. That's all I really did to talk about as far as what I was playing this week, because
Okay.
it's just a series of ROM hacks. So
Of course.
That's pretty
Of
cool.
course.
pretty cheap, and I'm sure it'll expand because it's on early access. So I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll add things.
All right. I guess that means we're going to talk about The Last of Us 2
Well,
now.
do we want to talk about it now, or do we want to do like some tweets and save Last of Us for the very, very end of the show so people who don't want spoilers can just
Why
turn
would we
off
do
the
that?
show?
Why would we
Okay,
do that?
let's do that.
I don't know because
Or
We're
let's
instead
going
of
to end
making-
up doing
there.
one tweet and talking about The Last of Us for...
instead of making people like, okay, skip 20 minutes or whatever.
Well, there will be chapter stops.
Okay, whatever you want to
Man,
do, man.
CJ is upset at your
No,
suggestion.
it's not just throwing a suggestion out there. It's your show.
All right, let's do tweets.
We don't have to. My idea was just that if people didn't want the spoilers, they could just go, okay, they're going to talk about it. We can just shut the show off.
Right.
It's the end of the show. We don't have
Can I
to.
get a witness?
We don't have. You're the regional manager. Okay.
You damn right I am.
I'm just old man Creed sitting in the corner.
I was going to say
spouting
you're
off
not even
nonsense.
an
So-
assistant to the regional manager.
No.
No. An old man is talking. All right, let's do
Exactly.
tweets then.
Well, tweedledee tweet.
We all know
whatever.
how it
We got
goes,
some
yeah.
tweets.
It's the worst
All right,
one
Hacker
ever.
alias Rambus
Tweet, tweet.
Dunk
Yeah.
says the big Xbox showcase is coming up in July. What could they show that would convince you to purchase a Series X at launch?
I'm already getting one.
Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, maybe something with Astrobot.
You know what I'd really like to see them do this time is show off what they're doing for VR.
Yeah.
That'd sell it for
I
me.
don't see that happening.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, if Sony
that's more of an E3 2021 thing.
Sony didn't bother showing off what they're doing with VR, I can't imagine Microsoft doing it.
Right.
I
like maybe a new Uncharted.
Wow.
Terrible.
Wow.
Gran Turismo.
I mean, this sounds terrible, but I mean, again, I've talked about it. For me personally,
Minecraft.
I just really Minecraft 2 exclusive to this. I guess I would have to get it then. But yeah, I mean,
well, let me ask you this, Phil. You like the Minecraft?
I do like Minecraft.
Have you looked at any of the sort of ray tracing things? Any of the demos with that?
They're pretty impressive.
That's first of all, it's called Rage Racer, and that was a Namco thing.
That was the most underrated Ridge Racer spinoff ever.
Right. There you go.
Right.
See?
So good.
Any of the sort of like real-time lighting effects, sort of graphical bumps to Minecraft interest you in the slightest? Or
bump, bump.
Well, let me tell you something. When I play Minecraft, it ain't for the graphics. So
right.
I'm not overly concerned about how the light off of the torches reflects on the caves,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen they did a demo of that a couple months ago, and apparently the ray tracing thing is in a game preview or like a beta test thing. Yeah. And it just strikes me as that's the sort of thing that I don't see Minecraft users really caring a whole lot about.
Right. I mean,
it's been 10 plus years of voxel graphics.
You're not playing Minecraft for the graphics.
No,
absolutely not.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just Microsoft does not really have any exclusive franchises that I'm really
that speak
into.
To you anymore.
Right.
Or I mean, have ever. I mean, about the only, I'm trying to think of the last time there was some sort of, I guess Crackdown.
Yeah.
Crackdown.
We all saw how that turned out.
And I enjoyed Crackdown 3, but still, I was just like, whatever. But it's like, unless Sega goes in hard with like, oh, we're doing another Jet Set Radio, and here's a new Panzer Dragoon or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, I think I'm in a similar boat, even though I like some of what Microsoft has put out this.
You say similar boat,
but
if Sea of Thieves 2 comes out.
Well, that's not happening. But what I want to see from them are new exclusive IPs that I'm going to care about.
Right.
Because we already know from PlayStation's point of view, like they have a bunch of cool sequels, and I generally think their original IP on PlayStation has been great.
Right.
Like every one of those games has been great. So I sort of want to see something on the Microsoft side to match that, and not a rehash of, Gears, Forza, Halo.
Right. But
although
I will
we're going to see
that,
Halo Infinite, and that'll be fine. Like I'm interested in seeing what that is, but that's not like drawing me to the Xbox Series X necessarily by itself.
You're going to get Gears, Forza. You're going to get Halo. Playground's doing something new, right? It's like an RPG or something.
Yeah, like a Fable.
Curious to see what that's all about. But then, I mean, you got to remember too that Ninja Theory's in that family now.
Well, and we know they're working on Hellblade,
and Double Fine's in that family as well.
Yeah.
So, and they're working on.
Well, they're finishing Psychonauts 2.
So and
then you have Rare working on Everwild, which
you've got Rare, which for better or worse. No, if you like Rare games, you like Rare games. If you don't, you don't.
Sure,
right.
They're a very particular kind of game.
Well, I think they make very different games than they used to now.
That's
right?
true.
Sea of Thieves is not like Jet Force Gemini or anything like that. No, it's not.
So I mean, they've got a decent
They've got
they
the
don't
studios.
have the stable of studios that Sony has. Either that Sony has a second party, or
Right.
sort of focused on the PlayStation.
They're sort of they're in
They've
different
got-
spots. Sony has the studios and the exclusive IP, whereas Microsoft just has the studios now, and we need to see what the exclusive IP that they're
But
working
that's just
on
it. I
is.
mean, they've been shoring up their studios for the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So,
Right.
like, I mean, I'm just looking at the list here, and like in the last couple of years, they've gotten Compulsion Games, Double Fine, In Exile, Ninja Theory, Obsidian, Playground, and Undead Labs, which is State of Decay. But
State of Decay.
so, like, clearly there's a big push here.
Yeah.
So,
So
be interesting to
when are
what
we going to
Hellboy
see the
shows up.
fruits of those
July?
labors? Or is that going to be July, you think? Or
I think they have to.
I think they have to too.
I mean, they've been building up their first parties, and now it's time to show them off, right?
I agree.
So,
But I hope it's something unexpected. I want to see something that's surprising from Microsoft.
yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see what happens.
My fingers are crossed.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Matt M666, who says, just like Sony owns the Spider-Man license, if Nintendo and Microsoft could own a license to make games, which IP would you like them to have the rights, and what kind of game would it be?
I'd like Microsoft to have Mario. And
I would like Nintendo to have the rights to Popeye.
Yes.
Just
you guys are so weird.
just to let Shigeru Miyamoto go
Yes.
nuts with a 3D.
No, that's
like
the
a-
unexpected 3-dimensional sequel that I
Yes,
need from
yes.
Nintendo in their
Make
next
it-
direct, please.
You know what? Make it like a character action game, like
Yes.
a Devil May Cry or a Bayonetta. But
Here's
with
the start of the
Popeye.
trailer.
Jesus.
Here's the start of the trailer. You see some
And
ocean
CJ's put some thought
waves.
into this.
Yeah, really.
Ocean waves. You see
Yeah.
the end of a dock. Camera pans up. You see a
Uh-huh.
sea hag behind a trash
Oh.
can.
Oh, there it is.
She hurls a bottle at your face, and then suddenly.
Oh, this is how they're going to introduce. It's going to be at the VR Labo.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man,
Nintendo
perfect.
Popeye is great. A great
Perfect.
little game.
perfect. There could be. You know what? I bet they could strike a deal with Zelda Williams to get the likeness of her father in that game as well as like an unlockable skin. You know, make it like Altman Popeye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
Oh man, did you know? Did you ever see the Robert Altman Popeye movie?
I saw it in the
The
theater.
one that Robin Williams was in.
The Robin Williams movie. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the live action Popeye. The you saw it theatrically, CJ.
Did. Yeah,
Goodness
course you
gracious,
did.
I did not. I saw it on cable or whatever. But the set, the city that they built for that movie, Sweet
right.
Haven, it still exists. You know that city is still standing to this day, and it is now
Really?
it's in Malta, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Or they
And you
turn it
can,
into like a
has a
tourist
website.
attraction or something.
it's
Yes.
absolutely a tourist attraction. Yes, you can go there. You can have your wedding there if you want.
If only I had known 10 years
It's
ago.
it's so weird what sort of stuff still exists from film locations. So I remember when we were living down in North Carolina, my fiance and I went on just went up into the Blue Mountains, like to a lodge, and
Yeah.
we went on a dinner. There was a train that you could go on. It was like a dinner train ride thing. It was really nice.
Mhm.
And it's just through this this circuit of track through the Blue Ridge Mountains. And at one point we're going along, and
West
our
Virginia?
what? No. At one point we're going along, and our server happened to be
You saw the
there.
Shenandoah River?
And he pointed
Radio
out the
reminds
window.
me of my home far away, and riding down the road, I get the feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday,
TJ's turning red.
country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama.
Continue the
Take
story.
me home, country roads. I've seen Whisper of the Heart. I know these songs.
So anyway, he points out the window and he says, if you look down there, you'll see a wrecked train
CJ's about
car.
to burst. Holy
You'll
crap.
see a wrecked train car. And we're like, well,
Oh.
that's a weird thing to point out to us while we're on a train.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was where they recorded the scene in The Fugitive.
Oh.
Where
Oh.
the train crashes and he escapes.
Right.
That was the train car from that stuff.
Oh man. Okay.
And they left. Well, of course they left the train car there. If they didn't have to move it, they weren't going to.
Yeah.
But it's there
Hollywood's
now, and
trash
it's like
is
an
now your
actual
tourist
attraction
attraction.
on this
Wow.
this dinner thing. So I don't
There
know,
you
it's weird.
go.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
It wasn't as good as your Popeye story, but
Yeah,
it
it's
was
okay.
tangentially related. So
It's okay.
Sure.
going back to the tweet, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, I would love to see Popeye at Nintendo
Yeah.
just for
For LARFs.
the old timey sake. You know what else I would like to see Nintendo handle?
What's that?
Perhaps a bit more sincerely, is give them Epic Mickey.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good one.
Because Epic Mickey as a concept was so cool.
Let's take it a step further. Let's take Disney stuff away from Square
Can we please?
and let someone else do something with it.
Yeah, because like I love the concept of Epic Mickey. I love the concept art. It's just a lot of clever ideas, but I didn't like those two games.
Execution, not
Right.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. As for Microsoft, I don't know what would
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a real tough one. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, just because my personal interests tend to skew more kind of cartoony and lighthearted, which is obviously more of a Nintendo fit.
Yeah, I
But,
feel like shooters and driving games are more the
Yeah,
Microsoft.
Yeah, maybe like Aliens.
Gone in 60
that's a good one.
seconds.
Yeah, Aliens.
So, yeah, like I could see Microsoft doing a really
Fast and the Furious.
solid Alien game. Yeah, they'd probably do pretty good.
Hey, anything would look better than the one they're doing now.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I actually haven't seen it lately, but boy, that real trailer was pretty rough.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Ugh.
That's too bad.
All right, let's do this tweet from hacker alias Earthbound G-Man, who says, "As fathers, what are some of your favorite gaming moments with your kids?"
No.
Most of mine are pretty recent. And what's coming to mind right now is especially my oldest daughter being so into Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Finn and I have been playing that a ton as well.
Yeah.
Which has been really fun. Just
Yeah.
buying each other items, sending each other stuff in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest loves to send notes for I had to check my mail in Animal Crossing today.
Mm-hmm.
She'd sent me a note for Father's Day with a little
Nice.
gift.
Oh, that's cute.
She did that for her birthday too. So
That's
yeah.
cute. Finn has in his in our Animal Crossing town, right outside his house, he has kind of fenced off an area and has turned it into a little makeshift store where he'll get items and he'll put them on display, and he'll sit and we'll play the game together. We'll do that thing where you can call in a villager so we can both play simultaneously, and I'll go to his store.
Oh, that's cute.
And he'll I'll look at the different things, and like today he was very excited because he had built he knew that I wanted to get a log bed for my bedroom in my house, and he had the recipe, and he actually went and made a log bed and put it in his store, and then he drew a pattern, just like a little like an insect pattern. Because he also knew that I wanted I'm trying to make my bedroom in my house like kind of nature themed. So he had drawn like a little bug pattern and put it customize the bed so the sheets have that bug pattern. And he's like, now this is an exclusive pattern that's only available in my store. And he's like, don't look in the actual patterns, because of course I can just go into our patterns and it's there. But he's like, don't go in there, okay? Because this is an exclusive pattern just for my store, and it's available on this bed. And I was just like, oh, that's really cute. And I asked how much it was, and he's like, oh, that's 5,000 bells.
Oh, I thought he'd go for 20.
No. I get the family discount.
Okay.
And then he's like, so if you decide you want to buy it someday, let me know. And I was like, oh, I think I'll buy it right now. So I go in, and he's like, really? He's very excited. So I drop 5,000 bells onto the ground, and he picks them up, and then I get to pick up the bed and go
awesome.
throw it in my bedroom.
That's awesome.
So it's super cute.
Yeah.
It's funny because you have that element of, especially we all have, my youngest is around the same age as your kids,
Right?
And you were still in that whole mode where it's like, I drew this at school, and you get given that thing,
right?
And you're obligated to put it somewhere. Not
Of
that
course.
even if you weren't to put it somewhere, it still means something to you, but it adds up.
Yeah.
So but it's totally translated to Animal Crossing, like what you were saying. Like, I mean, now that was something that he knew you wanted, which is adorable. Like, that's he went out of his way to make something he knew you wanted, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Izzy, one of the very first patterns she made was she created a Hello Kitty picture, which is really well done. I don't know if she did it off a pattern, if she just did it herself, but anyway, that had to go up on an easel in my house, and I can't ever get rid of it because it's so important to her. And I would never, but it's just like, wow, this is really art imitating life at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And actually, kind of going back to Minecraft, that's another one that he and I have both. I mean, he plays it constantly by himself and with his friends. They'll hop into the same world and do stuff together.
Yep.
But then he and I have a couple worlds that we have created, and we've just done the split screen play with it, where we're just running around exploring caves, digging caverns, building houses, and just going through and exploring this giant world together, and just seeing what we discover, and stumbling across villages or finding chasms full of lava and obsidian, and and then we'll kind of start recreating like video game sprites in the world. So we'll have like oh, here's a giant Pikachu looming over this mountain that we've built and stuff like that. And it's just creating these kind of worlds together that you can explore is just super fun.
Yeah. After I played the Grounded demo, I handed the controller to Charlotte to play, and she is terrified of bugs. So she was.
Did you change her name to Blathers?
She had been watching me play, and when I handed her the controller, she got into it quite a bit and played very differently than I did. She tried to like jump on the grass stalks and get like an overhead view of the yard and things, which is like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And then she was attacked by some ants, and she did that thing where she like her whole body just like she like got up from the couch and was like squirming around because she was about to get killed by the ants. She's like, I don't want to play this anymore. But we play Sea of Thieves together every so often, hop on a sloop and sail around, and that's super fun. I'll play Minecraft with her. Usually it's her giving me a tour of the things that she's built,
right?
Like a zoo or a cat farm.
Yeah.
Or different things like that. So and that's super fun. And then the first game we played together was Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yeah.
And that was like probably one of the best memories playing games with Charlotte, because that was her first video game.
Yeah.
Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Remember my oldest used to, when Rock Band was around, when it was new, if I sat and played Rock Band, she had to sit next to me with another guitar that wasn't plugged in.
Right.
Which was very little, but she had to sit there and play with me.
Awesome.
I've got a bunch of pictures of that.
That's really
awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
I have a picture of Finn, young, probably 4, sitting, back in California on our old couch. Well, same couch, but it's in our old place. But of him holding a SNES controller, and is this very intense look on his face because he's playing through Turtles in Time. Because
Nice.
he was going through a big turtle phase at that point. So I was like, oh well, Finn, here, let's try out this game. So he obviously loved Turtles in Time. So yeah, so that was fun. Just watch, I would play 2-player with him, of course, but sometimes he just want to play by himself, and it was just seeing that kind of intense, focused look on a 4-year-old's face as he's trying to beat up foot soldiers is pretty amusing. So there you go.
Cool. All right. Well, should we do the outro and then talk The Last of Us? Can we do that? Do the whole thing?
That seems weird.
As I smack my mic there. Yeah, let's save the outro till after, because it's like,
okay,
people aren't missing anything.
No.
If they skip the outro.
All right, so we're going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2 now. Spoilery talk included.
For probably like the first 2-3 hours of the game?
Yeah, probably, the first 3-4 hours. If you play slow.
But those two were not the same number of
Yeah,
inches, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. 2-3 hours.
I played it for about 3 hours last night.
Okay, so
to get to the point where I told you guys before the show where I'm at.
We'll talk up to the point where Phil has played, which is about 2.5-3 hours. So
yes, depending on how much you putz around.
Yes,
looking at the environment, which for me was a pretty decent amount.
Same here actually. So there'll be a chapter stop if you want to skip this entirely. Look at your podcast player. Otherwise,
I guess a spoiler-free way to say where we're going to talk up to is the first big location change.
Yeah.
There's a big location change that occurs about 2-3 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk up to that point.
Okay, a spoiler horn now.
Honk, honk, spoiler, honk. There we go.
All right.
You guys are weird.
Now you don't have to pay for a sound effect there. I saved us some money.
You really have to pay for a sound effect there.
You saved us some money.
Who wants to talk about The Last of Us 2?
I do. So going into this game and the marketing lead up that they've had, we've talked about this several times where it's like they show all the violence, and each time, we've commented on the show, like, I hope they earn that, right? It's like, I hope there's context, and I hope, it doesn't seem just like torture porn through the entire game. Like, I hope it's, as narratively interesting as the first game was, right?
Yes.
And so starting off this game, I figured there would be some like real kickoff to the story that ignites everything going forward. So I was just like waiting for that point. I was like, when is shit going to go down?
Right.
Because shit's going to go down probably through the whole game, actually.
Right.
Like, and I'll be ready for it at a certain point. But like the first 2 hours of the game, like nothing really kicks it off. So I don't know. I was having a lot of fun, playing the game, and just getting back into that Naughty Dog storytelling and the way that they like combine tutorial with some gameplay. Like, here's a snowball fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to teach you how to aim, and it's a snowball fight, and you're going to have
it was cute and fun.
You're going to have a lot of fun with that, and that was cute. That was seriously cute.
Well,
here's a character change. Now you're playing as a different character.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like Naughty Dog games, I can kind of see that. I sort of see where this is going. And that entire beginning point of the game, I thought was good for reestablishing my expectations of what a Naughty Dog game is going to be. Because, coming out of The Last of Us, they got all, praised to high heck. Right. And
hey, language.
The sequel reviews that came out last week were praising the game.
Are you
so high? And you kind of think,
self-censoring the word heaven?
Yeah, really. Well, I don't know what.
Praise to high heaven. And
CJ, this is why CJ was so down with the devil coming on our show. He's just
that's
like,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sometimes you get this feeling like Naughty Dog is, I don't know, up their own butt, with how good they are at storytelling. Right? Like sometimes you might feel that way just looking at how other people have praised them. But then you play the beginning of Last of Us 2 and I thought they really like this is, you know, the praise is not wrong. This is correct. Like they're mixing all this stuff in a very interesting way, in a very good way. It's paced well. So that's all I'm trying to say there.
Well, it starts off, you know, I mean, there's certainly a serious tone because, you know, just based on the setting and the world trying to kind of reestablish itself and society kind of in the early stages of reforming, that kind of thing. But they almost kind of go lighthearted with it because you have all this kind of like, you know, personal relationship drama where it's like, I just broke up with my girlfriend and now you're putting the moves on her, and then there was a bar fight, and you know, I was
shown in the game, but
no,
by the way,
no, because
great. I like the 2 E3s ago we were shown part of that scene, and
were we really?
Well,
I don't remember that.
The barn dance and the kiss.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
they did.
Presentation.
Okay.
You're right.
That was the whole thing where they had the Last of Us 2 part in that barn, and then they moved everybody to the other venue for the rest of it.
That's right. I forgot all about that. Jeez.
Pretentious. That's the word I'm trying to think of.
But
oh man.
But yeah, it starts off, you know, kind of like, you know, kind of lighthearted, you know, teen drama almost, where it's like, you know, it's okay if you're putting the moves on my ex, and you know, your adoptive dad kind of got pissed off and started socking a dude, you know, and it was just like, okay, this is kind of fun. It's like it because, you know, I've mentioned this on the show where I was, you know, obviously excited to play because it's Last of Us and I love the first one and its DLC, but at the same time, given kind of the state of the world and just kind of how awful everything feels these days, I wasn't necessarily ready to like dive into, like you were saying, CJ, kind of a torture porn.
Well, that's because
kind of experience.
The marketing for the game, what they've shown us, has been that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know if I'm ready to watch these characters that I like
rip people apart.
Yeah, or suffer. You know, right. I don't want to see them, you know, being, you know, pained and hurt for 20 hours straight. But that little intro, and again, I hit my mic. I gotta stop
with the hand gestures.
I can't. That's how I work. But but the intro kind of did. But again, you know, there was the serious tone.
Yeah.
But it did a good job of just kind of being like, yeah, you know, these are real people with kind of functional lives that they are going day by day. They're not sitting there wallowing in misery 24/7.
Sure.
You know, they're going out and having makeout sessions and going to dances and getting in the bar
But then
fights.
again, they also have to go out on patrol and look for infected and clickers. And
exactly.
There's the serious tone that you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's not 100% that.
Right.
At least at first. Because it starts to get real. But yeah, the character change. Switching over from controlling Joel or Ellie.
I took a screen grab and I was thinking of posting it to Twitter, like Last of Us 2, with like a, you know, Nelly, we really are the Last of Us. Like it, I don't know. Like here's some spin-off characters. I don't know. I didn't post it because I thought it was stupid.
Before we get into that though, I got to say,
I knew it was stupid. Rather.
Before we really get into that though, going back to what Phil was talking about, people just living their lives, like I was a little bit taken aback by sort of the progress that they've made.
Yeah.
I mean, like the town has electricity and you
know,
like it's just it's kind of cool to see, like they've definitely tried to humanize and relate to the audience here. And I think that, I mean, the last games carried so much on Joel and Ellie's relationship.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it ended, I mean, you know, if you've begun this game, obviously you've seen the ending to The Last of Us at this point because that's part of the intro here.
Right.
I love how they've taken that whole glimmer of mistrust that Ellie had when Joel lied to her at the very end.
Right.
And the way that they treat it, because it's, like he's so, you can tell he's so haunted by not only what he did to save her, but the fact that he lied to her about it.
Right.
And so you've got just these super awkward scenes between the two of them.
Yeah.
Where your heart almost breaks, because it's like, if you were as invested in those characters as I think a lot of us were in the previous game, and there was a very much a father-daughter dynamic there, to see them having those super awkward moments, it just it was kind of rough to watch, right? Not heartbreaking or anything, but just like, oh
right,
man, I feel so bad for them. Like,
And then you think of, because this game, I was looking up the timeline when all this stuff takes place. So the first game takes place in, I forgot it was this far in the future, but the first game takes place in 2033.
Oh, okay.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. First game takes place in 2033, and
they're still advertising Pearl Jam in the future. Yeah.
At that point, it had been 20 years since the outbreak.
She was born after the outbreak. She was 14 in the first.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
The outbreak happened in 2013. First game takes place in 2033. Now it's 5 years later.
Right.
So we're in 2038. 2038. And I did find it amusing that in 2038, the only functional video game systems that people can find are apparently the PS3s, like the fat PS3s, the notoriously not functioning PS3 fats. But everyone seems to have PS3s.
Yeah.
And the only games that people were able to salvage were the Uncharted games and the Jack and Daxter collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an amusing little touch.
There's also like a Coleco Pac-Man style thing in Ellie's room.
Yeah, I did notice that.
That's pretty cool.
Oh,
yeah, like a little tabletop.
I didn't take the time to really look in Ellie's room for some reason. And I mean, I'm one of those people that searches every corner.
I thought it was interesting. So not only, they show Ellie's room at first, and then they show it 5 years on, and she's changed the layout.
Yeah,
a little bit. Like some of her knicknacks have moved.
5 years older.
But I honestly love the amount of detail in the Last of Us games, down to every single environment. Yes, okay, a lot of people have the same PS3s and DVD players and televisions, and computers. But
I don't know, man. I found a sweet 4-monitor setup in Seattle.
I saw that.
Great.
Yeah. Everybody has thermostats. I mean, you look at the detail in the environments. It's always kind of crazy. But,
you know what I think is what I've, and I don't know why this stuck with me, but like when you go into the bathrooms and look at the showers, how they're all jerry rigged to.
Oh yeah.
Because I was looking at it, it's like, well, the shower wouldn't work.
But they're all like giant plastic barrels full of water.
Or you'll see metal wash basins in the tubs. I don't know why that stuck with me, but
they did it's again
and you see the 3 seashells next to the toilet and you just don't know what you're looking at.
I did pretty thoroughly explore Ellie's place for kind of setting out just to kind of see what she, and like I did notice like her DVD shelf was full of anime.
Oh yeah.
She had a lot of anime movies on her shelf. And like her bathroom sink and her shower both had giant barrels of water storage connected to them with a bunch of makeshift pipes strapped to the walls to get all that stuff to function. And it's just a lot of a nice little detail like that for the world building. But it did strike me as weird. And I mean, I can't speak to a full society collapse and then we have to rebuild, but boy, they just went like pure 1800s Western town with their new little city. And it's like, is that what we would?
Well, isn't it in Montana or something? Or I don't know. It's
I mean, they never got out of the 1800s in Montana.
Yeah, really. But is that what we would
Colorado.
default to? Is
yeah,
that what
sure.
is that what cities would default to? It's like, well, society's broken down. I guess we'll start over in like 1880 and just work our way back up.
Well, I mean, I get the feeling that where they're at is obviously they were existing structures. They didn't build all that stuff.
Right.
So I mean, as far as the layout and that sort of thing, but I mean, I don't know, like they're growing their own food and they did have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be a bit of a frontier town feel
Yeah, I
to
suppose
it.
so.
I
yeah.
think there would be,
Yeah.
Although a lot of people had cars in the town. I was like, are these working?
A lot of
Like
snowplows.
Yeah.
They're parked there.
But
Wouldn't you kind of, if you were not using the cars, wouldn't you move them out of the way? Could use the horses.
I don't
anyway,
know.
Whatever.
But we got a little Guitaru Man mini game with Joel.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked actually that was a nice callback to the original game.
Yeah.
So and a good sort of icebreaker for that whole huge awkward scene.
Right.
And apparently people are using that little mini game to perform other songs as well.
Oh, really?
Seen that on the internet? Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because the guitar thing happens elsewhere in the game than
Yep.
just that intro. So and if you go back to a guitar after you played it, like you can practice and you can switch keys with like the L1 R1 and strum like you would a real guitar, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Someone
should we talk about the
a
character switch?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say splice a Rockstar controller in there, or Rock Band controller, so you can actually use the guitar to play the guitar.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
so
we
switch
characters to two characters that we are
What's her name?
Not familiar with. Abby and
Abby and Fellow.
Abby and Dude.
Yeah, well, because at first we don't know who they are.
Right.
They are referred to as just man and woman.
Right.
Yes.
And we
at
don't
first
know.
I thought for a brief second that these were other people in like the patrol party or whatever. And
Well, I think you're supposed to. I think the game intends for you to just assume that these are other villagers,
right,
from your group.
But it sort of dawns on you a little bit later that that's not the case.
Well, as you kind of get over a hill and you see the city,
right. And they're talking about, I wonder if he's down there, and we'll have to flush them out. And,
you're like, I wonder who they could be talking about.
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge, wink.
Really?
Nudge,
wink, Were you ever? I wonder who they could be talking about.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, I knew who they were talking.
I figured they were talking about Jesse.
Jesse.
Ellie's friend Jesse.
Yeah.
But so then you quickly realize that these are bad guys.
Yeah.
Very likely.
And the girl's going to go off on her own.
Yes.
And stuff goes bad for her at first.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of A Plague Tale in one of those scenes. There's sort of a chase scene in The Last of Us 2 where the girl is running in different directions away from infected. Mm-hmm. And there is a very similar scene with the protagonist of A Plague Tale running through a town where it's very similar sort of action.
Yeah, they do that a couple. That happens at least one other time. I think that's when she meets Joel and Tommy.
She runs into Joel and Tommy.
Yeah, and they get overrun.
Which was very exciting. I really liked that whole lead up, that whole scene.
The chain link fence, and she's crawling along next to the building, and it was coming over with all the infected and everything. Yes. I was like, oh my god, this is intense. So but yeah, I will say though that what ends up happening was they signaled it so early. It wasn't surprising in the least.
Right.
Yeah. The brutality of what they do to Joel, I wasn't quite ready for.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I did like, and see, I thought this played out pretty well because the audience, we knew what was happening. We knew that, we had figured out they're bad guys. They want Joel probably to kill him.
Yep.
And I did like that, Abby being rescued, she realizes who she's with. She realizes this is the guy we're looking for. But I did like how none of the other people know, because they get
Right.
when she gets back to the mansion with her, where her buddies are hanging out, and they're all like, they're trying to just hustle her in to make sure she's safe. We're glad you got back. And it's like, oh, she's got two guys with her. They saved her. Let's get them in as well and make sure they're all safe. And then as soon as they get in the room, and Joel's, and I think it's Tommy. It's like, oh, I'm Tommy, and this is my brother Joel.
And you see everyone's face change.
Yeah,
everyone's face
everyone
change.
just looks up, and it's like,
and that's when you're like, okay, yeah, this is what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But actually, speaking to that, and I haven't gone back and played The Last of Us since it was new.
right.
But I think that the facial animation has improved a lot.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because, man, the subtlety that they're able to show.
Right.
And that's a great scene to show it, where it's just, and I mean, the motion capture is great. They do a great job with the motion capture and everything anyway. And the people who are playing these parts are fantastic at what they do.
Absolutely.
Right.
But that scene is a great example of like, if you don't watch Joel, but you watch everyone else, because the whole thing is rotating and panning anyway, and you're seeing the reactions of the people around him.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, some bad shit's about to happen.
Yeah. And I thought that was just a really well played scene.
And the line that Joel has where he acknowledges that they clearly know his name.
Yeah, you're all looking at me like you know us or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That line is just so perfect.
So what did you think? Did you think that they were fireflies?
I
did actually. Yeah.
Did you?
Well, they really sort of, they sort of set it up for that, because I mean, you have that whole scene where Joel is telling Tommy what he did,
right,
to save Ellie. When you look at it, is crazy, right?
Yeah,
and he murdered a bunch of people.
Right.
So at first I was like, okay, they must be fireflies, right?
Yeah,
but they would. I don't know.
I didn't make that immediate connection. I figured that they are people who probably found out. I mean, and I mean, do we know who they are technically yet?
We do. I don't think you do.
Okay.
We
know who they're
the
affiliated
group.
with.
Yeah, we don't know what Joel's affiliation with that group is.
All I know is that they are part of the Washington Liberation Front.
Right.
Which is why
Wolves, by the way.
What is it?
Wolves.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So as it was happening, my thought was, these are people who somehow know that Joel is responsible for there not being a cure. That was my immediate
that may not
thought.
be the case.
But the more that I'm playing, the more I think that's not the case.
Okay,
I think that's not
maybe
the
it's
case
not
either.
Maybe it's not.
And they haven't come out and said that's not, but Ellie and Dina now are talking. At least CJ and I are both pretty much in the same place.
Right.
We're still in the same chapter as you, but we're both more or less in the same place in the game. And the conversation now, they're really steering it to, how much do you know about Joel before you met him?
Right. Exactly. They're steering it that direction.
Okay. And I thought it was great, because when Dina said that, I was like, yeah,
that's
how
a good
much
question.
do we know about Joel before he met
true.
Ellie? Like, we know he was into some stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But God knows what he did to survive. He mentioned in the first game, like, he was just doing what he had to do to survive.
Right.
So Ellie almost brought his humanity back in a way. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For the record, for the listeners' sake, I have just reached Seattle.
Yeah.
The Seattle day one text is on the screen, and Dina and Ellie are riding their horses through some forest.
Yeah.
And that's when I stopped playing.
Beautiful scene, by the way.
Beautiful scene.
My God.
And I played for like a minute or so and was like, I'm gonna, because it was late, and I was just like, I'm gonna get stuck playing for another 2 hours if I don't.
Yes.
And you guys are maybe like an hour past me or so.
Maybe
a little
2
over
hours
at
or
this point.
Okay.
2.5
Okay.
past you.
Okay. So, but yeah, that's what I figured. That was like, just kind of my assumption, which, probably isn't right.
I think you're really
But-
meant to think that because they don't even
Yeah.
really tell you that they're part of the Washington Liberation Front when everything's happening.
No.
That's true. Yeah,
Right? They mention the patches on the jackets at one point.
that
And
was
Tommy
after.
even says like
Yep.
maybe they stole those jackets from somebody. You know, like,
Yep.
So
What did you think of the trip to Joel's house?
Oh yeah.
Because for me,
I-
like this was the first time in the game where I kind of got misty-eyed. When
Joel has a nice house.
Joel has a
He
nice
does have a
house,
nice
yeah.
house.
I kind of got
Joel had
oh,
a nice
wow,
house.
Wow.
I mean,
I kind of got misty-eyed on the smelling of the jacket, and then the box
Yeah.
that's on the bed that she opens up that has the watch. I was like, "Oh my god, video game, stop!"
I gotta say that the I didn't get misty-eyed about that so much, although I did love that we did it because it really sort of, if you experience the first game, it really reminds you of, again, the relationship between the two, because that
Right.
carried the whole game the first time. I will say
Yes.
the sniffing of the jacket really got me because
yeah,
my dad passed away just over a year ago, and I've lived that moment, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In the last 12 months. So,
right.
you know, like that got me. But I love the idea of, because moving through, because it really paints a portrait of who Joel was now.
Mhm.
We don't know who he was before he met Ellie.
Right.
It's, you know, like I was also going through and thinking, man, this man had a lot of hobbies.
Right.
Carving wood,
Pretty-
and
yeah, well,
guitars,
Pretty accomplished woodworker as well. I mean, he
Yeah.
made some pretty elaborate sculptures. I also liked right outside of Joel's bedroom, there was like a table against the wall, and it has the picture
Yeah.
of him and his daughter,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
she's in like her soccer uniform.
Yeah.
And you got to just kind of look at that for a bit and just be like, oh crap.
Also loved that if you notice beside that table,
Yeah,
whole bunch of photos he hasn't hung yet
I did notice that.
in frames.
I
And was
did.
like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, Joel and I have a lot in common.
Yeah, just kind of leaning up against the door frame there, where it's just a bunch of framed pictures.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
But
So-
also on that table, and you don't have the option to actually pick it up and look at it. There is a picture of Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
On that table as
really?
well.
And he also
Yeah.
has somewhere in the house, I forget where, a sketch of himself that she drew.
That was
Oh,
on
that's
the
cool.
on the
That's
mantle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you could actually, that was
that
one
up
of the
and look
things
at
you
it.
could pick up, and it had like to Joel
Mhm.
love Ellie.
Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that was in his on his fireplace mantle.
And that's when you find out too, that's the same scene where you find out that Tommy's married to Maria, is her name, who runs
Mhm.
the colony.
Yes.
Yeah, you find out because he's already, of course, left to
Yep.
exact his revenge on the wolves. And
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I thought that whole scene was great.
yeah.
You know, building up to walking to the house, seeing all the flowers that were in front of the house too.
Mm-hmm.
and all the
People
cards and
died.
everything is a nice touch.
Yeah, the
Great
little
touch.
the memorial shrine from
And
the
again,
Yeah.
town folk.
stopping to realize that he had this dark secret
Yeah.
where, and nobody knows that she's the cure, or
Yeah,
potentially
that was the
cure
other-
either.
Yeah.
That was the other
remember
thing.
She tells Dina, and Dina doesn't believe her.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
There's this bit, I think it's up to where you played, where
What's
they're
that?
going into a place where there's spores, so they put on the gas mask.
And
Yes.
she puts on her mask.
And she
Yep.
puts on her mask, and it's
Yep.
like, wait a second, she doesn't need to put on the mask.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's just going through the motions of that. And it's
But
like, oh,
I mean, there's the
nobody
scene
knows.
when they're in the grow up,
Yeah.
which that was hilarious.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
where they're telling truths about each other, and she points at the chemical burn
Right.
Right.
that hides the bite,
Yeah.
and she actually tells her the absolute truth,
Right.
Yeah.
and she doesn't believe her.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't
yeah,
believe
yeah,
her,
yeah.
right? And she
Yep.
gets pissed off. She's like, "I told you something true,"
Yeah.
but and then they get interrupted anyway. But yeah, like I noticed that too when they go in. It's to the bank when you're in Seattle and you go into the bank. I think there are spores in there or something, somewhere
There-
where there are spores
Possibly.
anyway.
That
No,
That
there are no
hasn't-
spores in the bank.
Oh no!
because I've gotten, there was a bit when I was where they're going through like the grocery store, I believe.
Yes, that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's the
Yeah.
store. Yeah,
'Cause,
it's that
'cause I
little
did-
town. Yep.
It's the grocery store. Yep.
Yeah.
Another little nice kind of character moment, talking about Joel's house when they get there, and Ellie's kind of having trouble getting herself together to actually go inside,
Yeah.
and Dina's just kind of standing there watching her and kind of offering to go in and do it. But just like, I thought they sold it really well that where it's very clear how Dina is. I mean, she's sad about Joel being dead, but it's very obvious that she is, just from the body language and the facial expressions, and just from the voice acting, that Dina is obviously way more concerned about how this is all affecting Ellie.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yes, she's not. You know, Joel's death hasn't left her unaffected, but that's not really what's concerning her at the moment. She's just everything is devoted to Ellie, and again, just the the body language and the little subtle voice acting bits, I thought sold that really well. But
I will also say, and you'll get more of this as you get further in, Phil. But wow, has Dina ever taken Ellie's role as the teller of dad jokes?
Oh, really?
Oh my god!
Yes.
And like, it's so funny,
Yes.
especially if you remember that from the first game, where Ellie has taken on Joel's role completely.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like a lot of the reviews that came out last week, or maybe even the one quote from Jeff Kanata that we all know, even though I've not read anything else about the game, talking about how it's a grim story and not fun.
Right.
Like going into and I didn't read any of the reviews aside from that quote.
Right.
I was like, 2.5 hours in, even though there has been some grim stuff that's already happened, like the banter between the characters and the gameplay is pretty fun. Like,
yeah,
it is. I will say though that because I was thinking about that too today, and there is some fun there, and those jokes are great.
Yes.
I got to remember some of them personally, but
all of
we've definitely lost I think what we've lost from the previous game, and there's no getting around that this had to happen because they're older now, is sort of the innocence of the fact that Ellie is 14.
Right.
Where now they're both in the two main characters are I assume in their early 20s.
Ellie's supposed to be 19.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, they've seen some shit. They're like during actually that scene you're in, Phil. I don't know if you've gotten as far as this yet.
I'll be right back. Hold on a second.
Okay, but this is good because I'm going to talk about the thing that Phil might not have seen so far. Is they're talking about the first non-infected person they killed.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, so they've seen some stuff. They've done some stuff. They were very cynical and world weary already at 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. Whereas in the first game, Joel was like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But Ellie was very much still 14. She's vibrant and
You remember the and I forget what was the name of the spinoff or the Left Behind, was that?
Left Behind. The DLC?
DLC, yeah.
Yeah, it was Left Behind.
So there's a scene in Seattle that you haven't gotten to yet, Phil.
Okay.
That's reminded me a lot of Left Behind. You remember, like, in Left Behind, they go to that Halloween store in the mall.
Of course.
And,
that's where Skeleseer lives.
That's the Skeleseer thing.
Does Skeleseer show up? Is Skeleseer in this game too?
There's a Halloween store.
You see some Skelecon signs everywhere.
That's all I want.
There's a Halloween store in Seattle that you can go into, and I was looking for Skeleseer stuff all over the place.
Man,
did I
love
Skeleseer store somehow?
You may have, but anyway, there's a store that has a bunch of Halloween stuff, and Ellie makes a comment that she's not interested in the kids stuff or whatever, and I was like, Left Behind. What? Because she put on all the masks and stuff and Left Behind.
But again, it's negative.
But now she's older and she's done with that kid stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of that, one thing that has happened so far is in Seattle. I hit it. Okay, well, let's go back to Seattle for a minute. So, we're in Seattle now, and I gotta say, the open worldiness that happens in that area.
Yeah,
not sure I'm sold on it.
It gets
I really liked it.
Although
I really liked it
as it developed.
Mm-hmm.
I like that everything is sort of cross-seeded as far as hints to go here and there and then go here, and like, okay, we heard about this little weapons cache that might be over in this store, and so you check the map, and so there's an element of that I like. And I'm glad that you not generally in a lot of danger when you're wandering around outside the buildings. Although what I was really worried about was because the first few buildings I ended up going into were battles.
Oh,
right?
really?
So I
For
really,
me,
I really got
I must have
nervous.
done it in a different
Well, you probably did,
order.
but I really
than
got
you did.
nervous because, I think it was literally the first 3 buildings that I went into. I had to fight
Ooh,
clickers
that was not the case.
and
me.
infected, and I was like, man, I really don't want I don't want this to be okay. Take a rest and go to the next spot now, and now
Right.
you have to do a fight, and it ends up that's not the case.
Okay.
No.
But it felt like it was going to be, and I was sort of going, I don't know if I like this very much.
And
But
I think the way that open worldy area is set up, you can do it in a different order, or there
You
may
can do it
even
in
be
any order.
places. There may even be places that you wouldn't go. Like if you miss it, you miss it. Like
well, that's
you don't pick up a particular thing. Maybe you
have
don't
to be,
go to this.
yeah,
place.
you have to be very and they do a good job of sort of letting you know, like, if you go here, you're probably done this section. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna do the main thing here that you need to do. So
Yeah, they have that. They have a detail which I love, which of course is the banter between characters. But then, like, if you've done everything in an area,
crosses it
Ellie
off the map.
will say, "I think we've done everything here."
Yeah.
And
But
I love that because it's like,
there's-
okay, I don't have to worry about did I do everything? Yes, I have.
Right. So when they learn about a new area, she draws a question mark on that building, and then that's how you kind of know to go there. Although there's some stuff you can find without learning about it first. And then when you're done with it, she crosses it off. But there's sort of the main key thing to do in that area. She actually circles the building with the question mark. So when she did that, I was like, okay, I'm going there last.
I did the same
search
thing
everywhere else, which is absolutely worth doing,
Yes.
and then go there last. But
I think there was one question mark that I didn't get to.
well, and that's the thing that I wanted to say, though, because then there's another scene where you get into, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because Phil, you're absolutely not there yet.
Right.
You're in a building that has multiple floors.
Yes.
And you probably had the same thing happen that I did.
I
I
think I
decided I'm
did.
going to be thorough floor by floor.
Yes.
And I went into a room where there was a big story scene.
Oh.
And now I can't get back in.
Oh, really?
Oh, man. Like,
That's a bummer.
nope, you can't get back in, CJ. If you do that room, you have to leave the room from a different exit. The first door that you came through is closed now and locked.
Yes.
And then you have to leave the building.
I may not be talking about the same building as you, but I did run into the same problem where I went into a stairwell and then, I can't go back.
Oh, see, yeah. Now this is the only time that I've seen it. And it was just like, you had to climb a fence to get into this area. And then you're in a building and it's like multiple floors. Now maybe I got to the top floor and I just didn't know it, but the stairway was still open. So when I got up to like the 3rd floor, I think it was, I went into a room where there's a big story scene. And then when the scene was over, Dina says, let's get out this way. And it's a different door. And if you go out that door, you're back in the same hallway you're in, but it's all blocked off because it had been blocked off before. Yep. And if you try to go back out through the door you came into that room, it's closed. It's not.
Yeah, I'm talking about a different building.
Yeah. So anyway, so I go out and I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. I'll just come back into the building and go to the other floors. But then when I go out, the item that was pushed up against the fence that let me vault the fence is gone. So they've locked it off. And I'm like,
video game logic.
I'm so pissed because I'm just like, oh, no, I'm always going to wonder what was in there.
I think that sort of brings up a thing that I've noticed as well, where there's a bit of an uncanny valley in this game where it's a lot of realistic stuff that you're looking at, but it's also a video game. So there has to be video game mechanics, right? And video game logic. And sometimes that butts heads with the reality that they're trying to portray on the screen. And for me, I notice it and sort of chuckle, but I think there are people who like don't notice it at all and just go with it. But yeah, it's things like the cart being gone there, or the fact that you can only open certain drawers, or the fact that you can get over a particular wall but not another one that's like half the height of that one, or
my big thing has always been, and I know it's done this way because the game wouldn't work otherwise, but like
No.
when you're working your way through Seattle and it's empty and you get into these buildings where you do end up in a fight, and if you're like me and you screw up the fight every time and you end up having to shoot people, that report is going to echo through the entire city because there's no one there and there's no other noise.
Right.
And yet, the people who do end up being there are totally shocked that you're there. And it's like, but I've been making so much noise.
I've been making so much
the
noise.
past 2 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what
it's
difficulty
kind
are
of
you
a
guys
stupid
playing
thing,
on?
but-
What difficulty did you select? I
lowest
selected
difficulty.
one up from the easiest difficulty.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, because there's like the super easy mode.
Yeah.
Where
which I
it
did
was
not
just
pick.
like, hey, if you just want the story, this is it. Yeah, I picked. I think it's just called easy.
Yeah, I think it's the next whatever
Or
that one is.
light.
That's what I picked too.
There's
Yeah.
light and very light.
Okay. Yeah, then
be
light is what I did.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah.
And I still have died a couple of times. Once was one of those video gaming parts where I was up on a roof,
Mhm.
and normally, like, Ellie, you can jump down from the roof of a building and not get killed. But in this particular jump, she immediately died. She like fell on her head and died.
Oh, whoops.
So I was like, oops. And another time as Abby, when you're
Mhm.
fighting off the infected or whatever,
Right.
and Tommy is pushing that like ski lift thing, the
Oh,
people
yeah.
mover thing.
I
And you're defending. I
died
died there. I was like, because I can't get my brain to do L1 to dodge at the right time. Like,
okay.
especially for enemies that
Yeah,
are
me
not
too.
currently on screen. Like I have a
Yeah.
hard time with that. I am, by the way, so the accessibility settings in this game are great, and they sort of run you through some of them initially in
Mhm.
the initial boot up of the game. But I actually, when I started playing, I did start getting motion sick
Oh, really?
at first. So I went into the accessibility settings and turned down the screen shake, turned down the motion blur,
Yeah.
added a center point to the screen at all times, which is actually really nice.
What does that do?
It sort of gives you a focal point.
They kind of do the same thing in a lot of VR games where they darken out your peripheral vision a little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then what else did I change? I changed the field of view
Oh, okay.
and zoomed it in a lot because I can't do the wide field of view. Like gives me motion sickness. And it really helped. Like I can finally play this game extremely comfortably. And I was very happy that those settings are in there.
They've gone above and beyond with those settings in this game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, they did a great job with all that.
I also turned on the hold instead of tap buttons to like escape from like a grab.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. You can turn that on as well for like when you have to lift open doors or whatever. You don't have to tap the button. You can just hold it.
Mhm.
Nice. So yeah, I've done a couple of runs through the accessibility menu to tailor the game to my preferences. Yeah.
I think that's kind of where we're at in this game,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really go into detail about it, but how about Joel?
You mean how about them doing what they did to Joel?
How about Joel's exit from
It was
from this
gory.
mortal coil?
It was definitely gory.
It showed. I mean, they left a lot to the imagination. I mean, a lot was implied there. You know, you
Yes.
didn't really see. I did think turning it into a mini game with like a hot shots golf
Jesus Christ.
meter was a little tasteless. But I
tasteless is that joke.
I understand that they want to immerse you
no.
into that world and make you feel the brutality of it. But
yeah,
but yeah, that was unpleasant.
it was
I
an
didn't-
unpleasant scene.
I
It was an
didn't like
unpleasant
it.
scene.
I didn't like. I mean, you know, it's functioned well. When I say I didn't like it, I mean I feel bad because I like Joel.
It did its job.
Right.
I like Joel. Yeah, exactly. It was
did its
effective.
job.
It was effective.
Here's what I'm wondering.
Man. Yeah.
Yes, they did kill off Joel within the first 2 hours of the game.
Yes.
But
they had to get him out of the game somehow.
they can always have a flashback or a dream sequence where he comes back.
I'm sort of a training montage. Let's do a training montage.
I'm waiting
with his ghost. Yeah. Like he kind of he appears in the clouds above.
Go all Obi-Wan Kenobi with her.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, exactly. That's what's going to be.
Weaver.
When it happens, now I'm just going to laugh. Thanks, guys. I'm obviously the brutality of this game is not going to end with Joel died.
Right.
The brutality of The Last of Us is going to continue on.
Yeah,
who knows which character they will kill off next? I think I pretty well know who's
Joel is going to show up. Who do you think's going to get killed off? Pure speculation.
Pure speculation.
Get killed off.
I figure Dina's going to get.
I figure
Dina's not surviving
Dina
this
is
game.
going to get killed.
Dina's not surviving this game. That is my guess.
I agree. Dina's not going to survive this game. If she does survive, by some stretch, even though they're sort of telegraphing, I feel they're telegraphing that she's going to be the next to get whacked. If for some reason she doesn't, then Naughty Dog has done an amazing thing.
If
they're
Dina
telegraphing it hard.
If Dina does survive the game, there's going to be some big twist at the end where she has to kill Ellie.
I just think the next main character we're going to find is Tommy, all torn to pieces.
Oh yeah.
He's dead. He's a dead man.
Tommy did not survive.
Yeah,
Tommy ran off, and that is
he's murdering too many people.
It's not going to end well for Tommy.
Yeah.
I figure Joel is going to show up again as the final boss. The wolves
Joel
have rebuilt him as a cyborg, and he's going to be riding a giant giraffe.
Nice.
Yeah, and you have to battle him.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's an emotional moment for Ellie because it's her adopted father figure and her beloved giraffes fighting against her.
By the way, have you been looking at Ellie's journal?
Yes. Which is pretty cute.
Can I say something that drives me nuts? And I hate complaining about this because it seems like such a stupid thing.
I wonder if it's the same stupid thing that I'm going to complain about.
I hate that she pulls her journal out, writes in her journal, closes it, puts it in the bag, and then you get the pop-up that says, press the button to read the journal. And Phil, just so you know, when she gets the map, the exact same thing.
Oh, good.
That's the exact
writes
same
something
thing
on the
that
map,
happens.
she folds it up, puts it in her backpack, and then you get to check the map.
Hey, Naughty Dog, if you're going to show your main character pop a journal out, clearly write something in it. I'm going to want to see what that is. So we don't have to have her put it away and then prompt me to get it back out.
This is that thing like video game logic, right? It's the video game things that happen that sort of take you out of the experience.
Every single, that affected my emotions more negatively than watching Joel get beaten to death. Is the frustration I felt every time. Oh, she's sketching something. I want to see what. Why did you put it away? Now I got to get it out again.
Oh my God!
Never
Fix
getting
that.
these 3 seconds back.
How? For as long as this game has been in production, for as thoroughly play tested as this had to have been, how did nobody say? Maybe people are going to want to immediately see what she's writing in her journal. Maybe we can just have an X and you can zoom in on it.
As she's writing in it, press this button to go ahead and look at the journal.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. Like, make it a hot spot at that point where that button. Oh, the only other thing too that I had happen to me, which I knew was going to happen eventually, in a stealth section. Well, all sections with enemies are stealth sections until they're not. But I was creeping up on an infected, and I happened to be too close to a drawer.
Oh, oops!
And I hit the triangle button, and God damn it, she turned and pulled the
Opened the
drawer
drawer.
open, and the infected heard me, and then all the other 5 infected
Of
heard
course.
that, and it was like,
I have
Okay.
But I
oddly
got like a
enough-
handful of screws, so it was
Yeah.
all worth it.
Oddly enough, I have not messed up a stealth section yet. Like
I haven't either, actually.
I have
not that I've had a ton of them.
right. I have successfully okay.
It took me
Maybe
a while to get
halfway
the
through
clickers
Seattle day 1, I stopped getting them right. But
Yeah.
when it's infected in clickers and not just humans, I've been able to get
See,
out.
humans I
out.
had no problem with.
Really?
In fact, I was pretty proud of the major human battle that I've had so far.
Yeah, okay.
It went
Yeah.
really well.
I-
But it was clickers. For me, it was learning, sneaking up on clickers. You got to move slower.
Mhm.
Yes.
And even though they can't hear, you can't approach them from the front, which irritates the crap out of me. Or can't see,
you
sorry.
can. You can
And
approach
it
them
never
from the
works
front.
for me. It
Really?
never
I've-
works for me.
I've had no problem
I've done that.
Really?
being
Oh,
in a
no.
in a clicker's eyesight.
Yeah.
I was just proud of myself for remembering, like, again, in one of those, like, I don't know if it was I think it was in the grocery store, where there's a clicker walking around, and I grabbed a bottle
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and threw it on the off in a corner, so then it was like and started running over there so I could sneak up and do my little stealth kill. I was very proud
The,
of myself.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing that I didn't remember, and was stupid because the game literally tells you to do this,
Yeah.
but you want to take out the runners before
Yes,
the clickers in
yes.
groups. And Dina said it, and then I
Yeah.
didn't listen to her. And I was like, oh, so I do want to take out the runners before the clickers. Okay.
yeah.
I've just
well, I mean,
been doing
that's-
it with whoever's nearby.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
No.
I've
Much
not
more
been
likely that
taking
a
out
runner is
runners
going to
first.
see you.
Yeah, you're supposed to take
Oh.
out the
Then a
runners
clicker
first.
will hear, then a clicker will hear you killing a runner. That
Yeah.
almost never happens, but a runner will see you killing a
Yes.
clicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it so far. The
Yeah.
stories got me hooked.
It's a beautiful game.
Obviously we like Joel and Ellie.
Yes.
So it's good to see at least Ellie back in action. And I like the new characters that that have been popping up. So, and then I mean, gameplay wise, it feels just like the first game, which I enjoyed. So
It does.
So
Yeah, I feel like I really like it at this point, not that many hours in.
right.
My worry about it is just looking from other discussion on the internet about it that has been non-spoilery is that with some Naughty Dog games they tend to go on a little too long. So my worry is this will go like there will be a stretch where it'll be like I'm ready to see this thing end and I'll be like 10 hours away from the actual ending.
Yeah.
And this is sometimes a problem with narrative games. Even the Uncharted games suffer from this somewhat, where there'll be a point where you're just like, okay, I'm familiar with all the mechanics. I've done almost everything that I could do. Do I need to go through another monster closet room? Like,
Right.
and I'm worried about that.
Right.
Well,
Well,
we'll see.
If it gets to that point, just drop it down to very light difficulty.
Yeah,
You can change it.
drop the difficulty down. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I fully appreciate that
Yes.
option for sure. Oh, by the way, I'm playing it via remote play
Oh yeah.
on
On
my
his Vita.
PC.
Huh.
No, on the PC because of course my PlayStation is hooked up in my living room,
Yeah.
which is where my daughter is a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so if I want to play this game where she can't see the excessive violence, it'll have to be on the computer. So yeah, playing it through remote play, and it looks great actually via remote play.
Okay.
So with headphones.
Hmm.
Cool. I think we should finish the show up.
Yeah.
'Cause
Finish
it's
the show?
Quarter
What?
to midnight here, and we still have
We're
an after show
after
to do.
we're after you. We're post 2 hours now.
I guess so.
Yes.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find log entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
Yeah, I need to work on one of those.
Yeah, you'll find Generation 16 episodes, which I know you're working on.
Yeah, so I finished the rough edit for the new hour-plus long episode. And so that's super exciting. I'm so happy with that. So I'm going back now and cleaning everything up, adding all the graphics in, adding in the soundtrack, and grabbing some footage that I had sort of put off to the end. So I knew everything I needed and could try to, be as efficient as possible in that. So that's where I am with it now.
Cool.
There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm super excited. I'm really happy with how it's looking now that I'm going back and sort of cleaning everything up a little bit and putting in some effects and things. So
Wow.
it's going to be awesome.
Okay. You will find show notes and links to all of the things that we talked about during this episode, and links to things like Greg Stewart's Twitch streams that he does every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Attaboy. Going Road Rash this week on Thursday. Road Rash on the Sega CD.
Excellent. Saw you did Bully last week.
That game hasn't aged very well.
No?
The writing.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
It's very of its time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually had a viewer leave.
Really?
I don't think that he was offended so much as he had it just brought back some bad memories for him.
Oh, really?
I felt pretty bad about that. And
Like
if you're listening, he just said something along the lines of that this is too close to some things that he went through. So I was just like, I was like, man, I'm sorry. Like I feel bad about that.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, so hopefully he'll be back this week. He's one of the regulars, so I hope he was not too upset.
Yeah.
Well, you'll also find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss all sorts of things with us and our other listeners.
Real quick, I know we're running long, but we forgot to talk about this part of Last of Us. When you are in Eugene's pot farm down in the basement.
We're really going to talk about The Last of Us in the outro?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Did you find the video cassettes down in Eugene's?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
looked like my dad's video collection that I found when I was 12.
Oh.
That was pretty funny.
With the amazing porn parodies of what was it? Smash Bandy's Cooch? Was that it? Smash Bandy's Cooch? And Dong of the Wolf, which I thought was because that's an in-universe porn parody.
Is it?
If you remember from the first Last of Us game, you would see in the cities there would be movie posters, like big billboards for it was like a Twilight ripoff.
Oh, right.
It was called Dawn of the Wolf, and it was kind of an in-universe Twilight movie that was being advertised. So there is an in-universe porn parody of the in-universe werewolf
blockbuster movie,
which I thought was pretty hilarious.
That's excellent.
So there you go. But
excellent.
Smash Bandy's Coot or Cooch. Smash Brandy's
Cooch. That's what it was.
Yes, needed to be mentioned in this show. I'm sorry.
Nice.
Okay.
Tell you what, though, if you'd like to subscribe, absolutely did. If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening application. You can also find us on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show and watch us live most weeks, but certainly not these past 2 weeks, on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. Follow our Twitter account at P1 Podcast, the numeral 1, to find out when we are doing our next live show. Hopefully next week, CJ.
Remember, we've ruled out nothing.
Yeah. Okay, I'll
maybe something will work this week, CJ. Give it a go.
I swear I will.
If you've liked what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. Maybe it'll motivate CJ to do some work on fixing our show.
Yeah, it will.
Maybe. No guarantees. Hey, but you know what? If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier, you do gain access to a special weekly after show where we crack wise, we have fun, we play games, we do all sorts of crazy stuff, the likes of which you've never seen before and the likes of which you may never see again, friends. So please tune in. If you would like a sample of what our post shows are like, check out our regular podcast feed every Thursday night.
Yes.
every Thursday night, CJ has been putting up old after shows from like 2 years ago. So, if you're a Patreon supporter, you're still getting real fresh stuff. You're not
That's
getting
true.
this 2-year-old stuff, but the 2-year-old stuff, as CJ has reported, is still pretty fun to listen to.
It is. But I will say that this week's Patreon episode is Greg Stewart's first issue of EGM.
Oh, really? We're doing an
Yes.
EGM review game?
Man.
EGM review game.
131.
And Greg is in the review crew.
Oh,
man.
so this might be
I am
worth
gonna
your
lose.
This might be worth your $5, friends, to hear Greg fumble his way through identifying his own reviews.
Listen to the crap I wrote 20 years ago.
This should be good. But yeah,
let's not go that far.
Please join us for that. Your Patreon dollars do, of course, help keep our show running and keep the lights on and help us continue bringing this nonsense to you every week. And hey, if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com where you will find the Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Philip. And please tune in. This new episode is going to be great.
Excellent. I am eagerly awaiting this very moment. And that's it for this week. CJ, thank you so much.
Thank you, Phil.
Gregory.
Yo.
Well, thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you. And of course, thank you to our lovely, lovely listeners. We love each and every single one of you. Please tune in next week. We will probably be talking about more Last of Us spoilers. So
Probably.
Please look forward to that. And we will see all of you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.